Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I as always am Grestar and this is another reaction to a death battle, Excalibur versus Raiden. As always, the link to the original is in the description below. So we have Excalibur from Warframe and Raiden from Metal Gear Revengeance, I believe is the name of that game. And also, if it's pronounced Raiden, then I will change it once I hear them say it. But I thought this one was pronounced Raiden. You know how it goes, but just be aware that I'm aware that it might not be that. So I've never played Warframe, and I've seen very, very little. A couple people have told me about it in the past, but I frankly don't remember what they've said. As for Metal Gear, I've never played any of the Metal Gear or Metal Gear Solid games, and I've seen a video on Metal Gear Revengeance. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember the channel name. I just remember it was like kind of sarcastically done. So sitting here, I realize I know very little about either of these characters and we're wasting our time talking here. So with that, let's get to watching. So here we go for the death battle. It's oddly quiet. Excalibur versus Raiden.
Wiz, what are you doing in here? It's our day off.
Oh, just conducting some research. I've discovered a Tenno foundry in the
Your
process
computer
of
seems a
crafting
little
new Warframe. I'm just about wrapped. What are you doing here?
Sometimes I have these horrible nightmares
I like
and
the
I just
bouncing
wake up here in a
DVD.
cold sweat. I don't even think my car's in the parking lot.
Oh,
But what you're doing sounds way more interesting. So tell me, what Warframe's your favorite?
Oh, a scientist doesn't play favorites.
Oh, bullshit. Our job is the equivalent of banging action figures together. You've got to have a favorite.
Fine, if I had to pick,
Uh-huh.
I'd go with the very first Warframe ever created, the death-dealing techno-organic ninja Excalibur.
You mean he's
why
a
would you
cyborg
go with the
ninja,
first
like
one?
Raiden
That seems
from
like a
Metal
bad
Gear?
choice.
What? No, they're not technically cyborgs. More like superpowered biomechanical vessels that are unlike anything I've ever seen.
Oh.
Trust me, this is gonna get crazy, so spoilers ahead.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, just give
sure.
me the lore already, Wiz.
Long ago in the Origin system, the Orokin Empire discovered the Void, an extra-dimensional spatial realm that allowed for travel across vast cosmic distances.
Okay,
However,
sure.
when they sent the first colony ship through it, the Zeraman 10-0, the Void drove all the adults on board into an insane, murderous frenzy.
Oh no, hate when
Sounds
that
like
happens.
My first wedding reception.
Okay. The children, though, absorbed the Void's energies, imbuing them with the powers they needed to defend themselves against their mad parents and survive. When the
How, though?
10-0 emerged from the Void, the children were permanently changed.
Like, why were they
had
okay with
become
it?
The Tenno.
Well, I'm sure those traumatized little whippersnappers received only the best of care.
If only. Instead, the Tenno were taught to use their Void powers to control Warframes through a process called transference.
Ah,
But
okay.
Their abilities were so powerful that the Orokin grew to fear the Tenno and tried to have them destroyed. The Tenno were hidden from the Orokin and put into a deep sleep. That is, until one day, they were reawakened to defend a war-torn Origin system guided by their adoptive mother, the Lotus.
So
Oh,
they're
great.
basically sci-fi child soldiers.
Sort of. Though the Lotus does care deeply for her adopted children and has devoted her efforts to protecting as many Tenno as possible. There are almost 50 different
So she
Warframes
wasn't the one
currently
then who
out there,
tried to
each with
destroy
their own
them,
unique
okay.
abilities and combat styles. But I think that the very first created Excalibur is the deadliest.
He's kinda reminded me of someone.
Is it
A
Genji?
master swordsman
Or is it
with his
Raiden? It's
razor-sharp
probably
stomp,
Raiden.
Excalibur is an expert at racking up quick kills faster than the eye can track. He's unmatched in skill and precision with the blade, especially when augmented by his unique abilities, like Radial Blind, which releases a flash of light to incapacitate nearby foes,
Okay.
or Radial Javelin, which blasts out a wide
Radial
burst
stuff,
of
cool.
energy spears. But his greatest and most iconic is easily the Exalted Blade, a sword of light that can slice just about anything to pieces. You don't get much cooler than that.
Huge-ass laser guns.
It does look pretty
Wiz.
cool, not gonna lie.
Huge-ass laser guns automatically make you cooler.
Funny you should say that. While individual Warframes like Excalibur may specialize in certain fields, they all have access to an incredible suite of futuristic weaponry, like the Nucor, which can fire concentrated beams of microwaves, literally
Oh.
cooking you from the inside out.
Oh,
or
boy.
the Glaxian, which halts molecular vibrations entirely, freezing you in place. There are guns that fire radioactive plasma, toxic barbs, or even acidic needles. He has, and I'm not exaggerating here, over 500 different named weapons.
Wow,
He
okay.
sounds like a one-man army.
Oh, you think that's crazy? Excalibur can call down an Archwing, basically a futuristic space jetpack with missiles, force fields, and even the ability to fire miniature black holes.
Oh!
Yeah, that's pretty powerful.
While Warframes usually battle alongside one another, they have had the occasional head-to-head scrap, where they've exhibited the durability to survive even the most powerful attacks that other Warframes have to dish out. For example, blasts of concentrated antimatter from the Warframe Nova.
Sounds
Interesting.
pretty unstoppable,
Antimatter.
but I think I have someone in mind that might put that to the test.
Is it
Do you
Raiden?
really want to talk about Raiden? Is that what this is?
Oh, it's
Come
Raiden.
on,
Okay.
Liz. Child soldier, half-robot assassin, glorious Nippon steel. It's a perfect match. Raised from childhood to be a trained killer in the war-torn streets of Liberia by the future president of the United States,
Rip.
Jack never knew what it meant to control his own destiny, to live his own life. The only thing he knew was how to kill, and
Aw,
he proved it
sad
when he
boy.
accomplished one of the greatest feats in video game history. Surviving the absolute mindfuck that was Metal Gear Solid 2. Legions of angry fanboys be damned. Solid Snake was yesterday's news. This was Raiden. Birthday suit and all.
Oh,
For him
great.
that a shadowy extra-governmental body known as the Patriots captured him and turned him into a cyborg for their own complicated purposes.
I see.
Even after the Patriots' downfall, Raiden struggled to build a life that he could call his own, pulled between his sense of justice and his genuine ecstasy for war.
Well, at least
Okay.
he's got to put his weeb skills to work with the weapons he's pulled off the corpses of all the poor souls that dared mess with him. He's got dystopia, a magnetic sigh that pulls you towards your enemy, or l'étranger.
Wow, I think you actually said that right.
Which is a convertible
I don't think he did, but
whip
okay.
combination made of arms, plus rocket launchers, claymore mines, EMP grenades, and all his stuff from MGS2. But nothing beats his high-frequency blade he inherited from Jetstream Sam, the Murasama.
I have to admit, the high-frequency blades are marvels. They vibrate at such high speeds that they can destabilize the physical structures of metals on contact, greatly increasing their cutting ability. It's basically robot kryptonite, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Even
that
with his
does make sense,
original
actually.
high-frequency blade, Raiden could cut through massive metal gears like tissue paper.
And of note, those metal gears were not made of ordinary steel, but carbon nanotubes, one of the strongest materials known to man. The bonds between carbon atoms are incredibly strong, which means that the tensile strength of carbon nanotubes is greater than even the toughest metals, like titanium. Using the high end of potential shear strengths, slicing clean through a building-sized Metal Gear ray would require an energy equivalent to, at most, 100 kilotons of TNT.
And the Murasama is red, which makes it even cuttier. How else would he
Sure,
have had
yeah.
a chance against our Lord and Savior, Senator Armstrong, and his nanomachines, son?
Yay!
Unlike those Beltway pansies, this hulked-out Ayn Rand can hit the ground so hard it splits lava. He was somehow a vastly more difficult boss than the stadium-sized Metal Gear Excelsis Raiden tore to shreds minutes earlier. Don't F with this, Senator.
That is, unless your nickname is Jack the Ripper.
Oh no.
Spent years fighting for
I don't know how many
justice
people
and
have that
denying who
nickname.
he really was inside. And it took his battles with Desperado enforcement to finally realize it. He's a killer, plain and simple, and he lives to test his skills against others.
When he enters Ripper mode, any last shred of inhibition leaves his body, and his strength and skill skyrocket.
And that's exactly what Armstrong saw in Raiden. Living proof of his philosophy in action. Someone who pulled themselves out of hell with nothing but their determination to survive.
But Raiden did not see it that way. Just because he had to fight for survival doesn't mean the whole world had to. And it was only through an act of generosity from Raiden's slain rival, Sam, that he managed to win.
His sword may have been a tool of justice, not used in anger, but the Murasama wasn't that sword. And with it, he ended Armstrong once and for all, and lived the rest of his life on his own terms.
Okay, wow,
Look,
I learned a
know we're
lot.
just shooting the shit, but Raiden
Oh, there's
would
still more?
definitely kick Excalibur's ass.
Okay, no, I was just gonna
You've
say,
gotta
but
be
I
joking. Maybe I didn't sell it well enough.
hardly
with my
know where to
spiel,
start.
But Warframes like Excalibur are unbelievably powerful, on a whole other level from cyborg ninjas like Raiden.
Oh yeah? We're in the lab, we've got the research done, Prove it.
Okay,
I like the music in the
result is
background going
impressive,
here.
Sure, but Excalibur's futuristic arsenal is hundreds of years more advanced and leagues more varied. Raiden would just be overwhelmed.
Excalibur may win in quantity, Wiz, but quality is what matters most. And considering his weapons are mostly made of metal, it won't be any trouble for Raiden to melt right through him with the Murasama, especially with how crazy fast he is. Raiden can run up walls and break dance with leggy moving robots attached to his feet. He can slice bullets out of the air and even boost his reactions with blade mode. Where
Okay,
the
yeah,
entire
yeah.
world slows down to a near stop.
Well, sure, Metal Gear characters like Revolver Ocelot can shoot bolts of electricity out of the air with regular pistols, which is probably around hundreds of times faster than sound. I guess that counts as fast.
Oh, please, that's nothing. Raiden can increase his perception to the point that raindrops around him aren't even moving. That might not
Wow.
seem as crazy at first glance, but he's also able to swing his sword dozens of times while time is almost stopped. By my calculations, that'd be about 11% the speed of light.
Wow,
is
good
this
for you,
happening?
Boomstick.
Is this actually happening? You want a calc off, big guy? Then let's go. Excalibur can literally block a beam of light with his sword. Judging by the distance it moved relative to how far the light beam traveled, Excalibur had to have been swinging at 9% the speed of light.
Calc King dethroned. Look at me. I'm the math boy now.
Look, speed is only part of the picture. Another Warframe, Atlas, was strong enough to smash apart a giant asteroid. Now, Excalibur may not be one-punching asteroids, but he's proven more than capable of wiping out entire platoons of elite soldiers.
But remember, Wiz, you said it yourself. Robot Kryptonite. All old Jack needs is one good swing of that Murasama, and Excalibur's getting sliced to pieces. You really think your Warframe can take on a pure-blooded killer like Raiden?
Oh, you really think your cyborg ninja can take on a ghost soldier from the future?
Well, I guess we'll never know.
Forever mystery.
No way to determine a winner.
Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Oh yeah, I could definitely go for a beer right now.
That's
No,
not what
you
he's...
idiot. Let's settle this the old-fashioned way.
Oh, yeah. It's
All
time
right,
for a
death battle and pause. So, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win. Here's the thing, right? So, Raiden seems to have a lot going for him, but that's kind of why I'm hesitant to lean in his favor. In part for meta reasons, but like also just, I don't know, like, so they did straight up say that like Raiden has like faster feats, you know, 11% the speed of light versus like 9, or maybe it's closer to 10 and closer to like, or closer to 12 and closer to 10, I'm not sure. But what I really want, like here, this is one of the biggest things, right? I don't know how much punishment Warframe can take. I don't think they mentioned regenerative abilities, but they've also shown them being like really messed up, and so I don't know if they were just like brought back and healed or repaired afterward, or if they do have some sort of regeneration, and if they do, I don't know to what extent. So like I have to assume they don't, but I don't know what it takes to actually kill them. Like if they're mostly like cybernetic or whatever, then they could go for a while. But does that matter if Raiden is that fast and can just slice through them with like blade mode or whatever it was, you know, to the point where like raindrops are stopping and you can still swing, you know, like 12 times. So that's the biggest doubt I have, you know, for Excalibur, is just that like, yeah, Boomstick has a very good point. Like, couldn't he just very quickly end Excalibur? And like, while Excalibur is really, really fast, if we're going with like, again, 11% the speed of light on Raiden's side and 9% on Excalibur, like 9% is still ridiculously fast, but the 2% means a ton. Then, what was I even saying? Just if Excalibur doesn't have, you know, like ridiculous regeneration or just endurance feats, I don't know that it can stand up to that, because they didn't say anything about Excalibur, like the Warframe, being able to resist those kinds of attacks. And it's not even like, I mean, I don't know that he has experience in that regard. It's not even like Raiden is using just a normal sword. No, it's specifically like a high-frequency sword that is easily tearing through these things that aren't even normal steel. They're this futuristic, I assume, right? Like, you know, composite material. Like, but then I want to say the biggest thing in Excalibur's favor is I think just the sheer variety in the arsenal and the power that exists there. I mean, I don't know if Excalibur has the means of antimatter or if it's just that he survived antimatter blast, but I think that that's a pretty big thing. But I don't know if he would be able to use that against Raiden. And aside from that, I think that the biggest thing would probably be the like miniature black holes that Excalibur is able to produce, but I have no idea what kind of forces those exert, and yeah, I don't know. That's basically my issue right now, is I don't know a lot of feats that really like scale against each other super well. The only thing that I know for sure is the speed thing, because they just straight up gave it to us, and that was in Raiden's favor. I want to say that Excalibur is actually physically stronger with what they were able to do. I mean, like, they had Raiden, and like they were talking about Armstrong or whatever, and how he like punched so hard that like made lava burst up, but I'm pretty sure that Raiden did more than that. And you know, or Excalibur did more than that, excuse me. We have Raiden cutting through these huge things, but I swear there was something about Excalibur just like tearing through the hulls of ships or what, and like these are, I assume, like big ships, you know? And like those were big robots that Raiden was fighting, but it's not at the same scale as like, you know, a cruiser would be up in space. So I think that Excalibur has that power, but it still comes down to, for me, can Excalibur survive just Raiden with his better speed getting all up in his face and just dicing him to pieces? That's what I don't know. It's similar to the, you know, in the last death battle, Boba Fett versus Predator, where I thought that Boba Fett had the advantage, but if Predator could just like get that one like self-destruct off, that final bomb, I don't think that Boba Fett would have been able to survive that. But Boba Fett was able to escape it. Not survive it, but escape it. But I don't know if Excalibur could escape Raiden's attacks because he is faster. And like I don't know, like the way that we're comparing their speeds is Raiden, you know, with like raindrops frozen in time, basically, was swinging 12 times with his sword. And the way that we were calculating like Excalibur's speed was Excalibur moved quickly enough to block a beam of light. And, you know, we got our 11% for Raiden and our 9% for Excalibur. As far as actual movement, though, is concerned, I think Excalibur is faster, but I don't know for sure. Just thinking about the scale that they're fighting it, like, you know, because we saw some scenes, like, Excalibur, a lot of this stuff was in space. It's hard to get, like, a solid reference point. And then for Raiden, it's just kind of like a city, like, yeah, he's just running along the side of a building. It doesn't seem super impressive, but I guess I also don't have a great reference for that because I don't know what's going on around him. So, great. Ultimately, I just don't think that I have enough information that I personally need. Not saying that they didn't provide enough information, but that I either just missed things or I don't know, I'm not putting things together in the right way, but I don't have specifics in mind. This is where I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking that Raiden's going to win just because I don't know if or how Excalibur would be able to avoid Raiden just cutting him to pieces. Because even though I think that Excalibur is physically stronger, I think that Raiden is strong enough to be able to like cut through Excalibur with his like fancy swords, right? And he's certainly fast enough. I mean, the numbers they gave made him faster than Excalibur, and so unless they pull something out that had Excalibur actually going faster, like, oh, okay, one thing that comes to mind is they do have, Excalibur does have force fields, at least when using that jetpack thing that is able to create the miniature black holes. I don't know what those force fields are capable of. Are they able to block the sword? Maybe. And if they are, would we be able to rely on that in the majority of times where they are to fight because it's a death battle and that's how they work? I don't know. And then, you know, like, I think that, you know, Excalibur definitely has versatility at his disposal with like around 500, I don't know if it was almost 500 or exactly 500 or more than 500. But different weapons. But I don't know how different they are. I know they're different by name, but I don't know if they're necessarily different in function or to a reasonable enough extent that you should separate them as, you know, different weapons. I mean, you should separate them, yes, but like, is it worth considering in the case of a death battle? I don't know. So, like, I think that Excalibur would have the means to kill Raiden, but I just couldn't tell you what those means are because I don't know, like, they didn't give a weakness necessarily for Raiden, you know? Like, I actually don't know what counts as him being dead. Does he have a heart that you'd have to tear out and crush? Or would you have to kill his brain? Because the only thing that I could tell that was human of him was like half of his head at that point. But I also don't know what counts as a kill for Excalibur. Because they also seem to have like fleshy head bits. So I'm really not confident in this. But just because I don't have enough details to like fight the other way, like with actual solid ideas, I'm gonna say that Raiden is going to win just because I strongly believe that he is capable of killing Excalibur with his speed and his weaponry. And I think that Excalibur is able to kill Raiden too, but I just don't have the specific hows to give you, so I can't really argue for that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I wish I knew more, because I don't think that Excalibur is weak or slow or anything. I definitely don't think it's one-sided in Raiden's favor. I just don't know how to argue for Excalibur in this case. So, Raiden's going to win this one, but if he doesn't, then I think it's going to be due to, like, I think the force fields are probably going to play some role on Excalibur's side. I think that his arsenal is going to play a role. And the fact that he's gone up against others that are more his caliber. Like, he's gone up against armies of Warframe, hasn't he? Whereas, like, Raiden's gone up against super tough people too, like Armstrong. But I just don't think to the same extent as far as experience is concerned, you know? And, you know, like, Excalibur has had more experience with, like, powers in general, considering the kids got powers when they moved there, right? And then all the training and stuff. So it's like, Raiden might have more training, but I just more experience with weird stuff. I don't know. Raiden's going to win this one. There was an advertisement. I skipped it. This is the actual fight. It's like it was 3D printing something.
Doctor, are you seeing this?
Are you seeing this, Doctor?
Tenno, an enemy is ahead, and that foundry is crafting a warframe.
It is 3D printing! And so it begins.
Straight to the point. Metal freaks like you usually got a monologue first.
I believe that, given what I've seen of that game. And the music definitely sounds like Revengeance to me. Again, sorry if I have to block it. What?
Infinite ammo.
Oh, okay. Sure. I don't know why I'm watching this as though I'm going to be learning more actively about
Mr.
them.
Raiden, sir. Can I call you Jack? Big fan.
Oops, you're distracting him!
Wait, just listen. He'll never expect your secret weapon.
What would that be? Oh.
Alright, listen, he's definitely hiding in the cardboard box.
Get out of here!
Aw, Wiz! You misled him! I do like this song.
Doctor, it's time to let her rip!
Alright, here he goes.
This is why I fight! Survival of the fittest! The rules of nature!
child, you're not done yet. I'm searching your Warframe's power system.
Okay. Do it.
Excellent work, Tenno. Now for the foundry. Oh, it's finished.
Wait, is he dead? Wait, what happened?
Oh, chalk one up for the Calc King. The math boy is back.
What happened though?
Infinite ammo, Wiz. He had infinite ammo.
Sure, and yes, that is 100% indisputably canon, but there was a lot more going on here that eventually gave Excalibur the win.
I guess so. Both were super skilled swordsmen and ninja, and their speeds were almost even. So the fight was ultimately gonna come down to
I don't know,
whose
isn't
tech was
2%
better.
closer to
And
speed of light
gotta
pretty
say,
significant?
Looks like Excalibur just had a lot more to pull from.
Warframes have access to an absolutely absurd amount of varied weapons.
Right.
Despite Raiden's unique armaments, they were never going to stack up in sheer quantity. And
Well, no,
consider
yeah,
specific
I
guns
agree.
like Glaxian, which can halt molecular movement, a direct counter to Raiden's high-frequency blade. While Excalibur may not always be carrying it, every Warframe is
Interesting.
proficient with each of their over 500 weapons.
One blast of that, and Raiden might as well be working with a regular slab of steel. Excalibur was way stronger too.
But that's-
sure Raiden could
that's only if
cut
Raiden
through
gets
giant
hit with
Metal
it.
Gear rays made of carbon nanotubes, generating up to 100 kilotons of TNT.
But not as much as Excalibur. Another Warframe, Atlas, was strong enough to smash apart a giant asteroid, meaning it would have to be at least 6 kilometers across.
Okay,
just
yeah.
like the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. Now, Atlas did not completely halt its kinetic energy. By exploiting fissures within the asteroid, he was able to pulverize it to dust.
That means
Oh,
his punch
well
had
then.
to hit with an energy of at least 46 gigatons of TNT. Sure, in canon, Atlas is stronger than Excalibur, but they fought and defeated similar enemies, so Excalibur would naturally have to be somewhere in Atlas's ballpark.
If that's-
Even if
yeah, no,
Excalibur
that seems
only
fair to me.
possessed 1% of Atlas's strength, he'd still be nearly 4,000 times
1%?
stronger than Raiden.
Oh, that's cool.
Pretty consistent with the energy output of Nova's antimatter blast too. Warframes are just that tough.
Furthermore, even with the high-frequency blade's unique vibrating ability, it cannot cut through everything. Raiden's original blade actually shattered against Armstrong's super hard skin, and required the stronger Murasama to finish the job. Against a foe vastly more durable than anyone Raiden's ever faced, it's unlikely the Murasama would score a kill in time.
Even if Raiden got enough hits in to break Excalibur's shields and eventually land a fatal blow, the Tenno operator piloting would still survive unharmed.
Raiden put up
Okay,
a
well, that's
valiant
cheating.
effort,
You
but
can't-
Excalibur's absurd
'Cause we're not talking about the
arsenal,
operator, we're talking about
raw power
Excalibur.
Put an end to the silver-haired swordsman.
Excalibur had the metal and the gear to make Jack R.I.P.
The
Nice.
winner is Excalibur.
Claps for Excalibur.
Told you so. Thanks for watching, and
You're
thanks to
welcome.
Warframe for sponsoring this battle. Quick disclaimer, Digital Extremes in the
This
Warframe team
definitely
did
was
not
a
dictate
better
the victor of this
sponsored
episode,
video
nor
than
even
the
the
7
matchup.
Battle
They were
Royale.
fine with it going either way,
Absolutely.
and we wouldn't have accepted the sponsorship otherwise. So we're really thankful to them for understanding this show.
That's good.
Remember, you can get a free collection of Excalibur-themed goodies from Warframe.com or the in-game marketplace with the promo code WF-Death-Battle.
Cool.
Don't miss out on
You could do
TennoCon,
though. I mean, you
July
probably can't at
16th.
this point, but you could have.
I'm Jocelyn, and
Hi.
I've been promoted. I'm about to do all the research nobody else wants to, straight from the desk of Death Battle.
Good for you. Desk of Death Battle returns. Yay! All right, so I was wrong. Yay me. I do have some issues with the conclusion that I kind of voiced already. They mentioned like the Tenno user would still, or the Tenno I guess, would still survive. That doesn't matter, I don't think, because this was about Excalibur, not the person piloting like telepathically Excalibur. So I'm immediate. I don't care about that. I was right about the strength thing, so that's good. I was right for the wrong reasons because I kind of forgot about the asteroid thing that they had for Atlas, but at least I was able to gauge that Excalibur was physically stronger. If the Murasama can't cut through Excalibur, fair enough. I was just wrong about that, but I was led to believe that it would be able to, because that's all that they were saying, was that it was like robots, you know, worst nightmare kind of thing. But fair enough, like if it couldn't, all right, I can accept that. I don't love their thinking too about like, yeah, you know, Excalibur has this one weapon that like halts molecular movement, and so it would just cancel out the high frequency blade. No, I don't think that would. No, like there are definitely times in Death Battle where certain feats cancel out certain other feats or abilities, etc. I don't think that this is one of them. Like, yes, that could happen, where Excalibur shot and Raiden blocked it, and then his sword just stopped moving, like as we saw in the animation. But do I think that would happen the majority of the time? Like, no. If Raiden, excuse me, is faster, he could just get out of the way. He could just dodge the beam, right? So I don't think that would happen the majority of the time. But, you know, again, like, if that aside, if we don't think that the sword would even be able to, like, you know, cut Excalibur, then I don't think that Raiden would have a chance. Because my whole thing going into this was, you know, Raiden could cut him up. And if Raiden can't cut him up, then Raiden can't win. So if that's what they're saying, then yeah, I accept that. I totally do. If the sword could get through Excalibur, though, then I don't care for the whole, well, the Tenno pilot would still survive. I don't care for that argument. But otherwise, cool. Yeah, I mean, the rest of the conclusion, though, makes sense to me. As far as, yeah, Excalibur has, like, a wider, like, array of weaponry. Excalibur is, like, ridiculously strong, much stronger than Raiden. I really did appreciate the whole thing. Like, even if he were just 1% as strong as Atlas, he would still be this many times more, like, powerful than Raiden. Like, that says something. But I think it also goes to show a little bit about how, like, important percentages can be, and how 2% the speed of light is quite a bit. And so saying, like, this is 11% the speed of light, this is 9% the speed of light, that's pretty close. I mean, like, yeah, it's fairly close in terms of percentages, but, like, that would be quite a bit faster in Raiden's favor. Just saying. Not at all to say Excalibur's slow, because he's not. And yeah, I'm not disputing the results of this death battle. It does make sense as long as you know, accept certain things. And yeah, I'm willing to accept the things that they laid out here. Mostly the whole Raiden couldn't really cut through him even with the Murasama. Now, if you can, though, I still have questions. But yeah, so I guess that's all I have to say about the conclusion. I mean, and the analysis, like, it just goes to show sometimes I should just listen to my initial inclinations about the meta, right? Because it's like, well, they weren't even trying to hide the speed difference, which makes me think that there's something else, you know, in Excalibur's favor. And, you know, I acknowledge that. I talked about that. But I wasn't sure the specifics that I could use to actually earn Excalibur a win consistently. So, you know, that was where my fault lay. But as for the analysis, I did really like how they presented it all with, you know, the beginning, like the music wasn't there because they clearly weren't here to do a death battle. They just started chatting. And then, you know, Wiz brought up his favorite, because, you know, Boomstick cast. His favorite Warframe. Then it got into the competition of like, oh, well, my character's better than your character, blah, blah, blah. Escalated into that fight. We'll settle it the way we know how. Like, it was really good presentation. I appreciated, like, the episode a lot. Just, like, the drama they put on. It was fun. For the fight itself, I mean, I liked it. It wasn't my favorite as far as animations are concerned, and I do think that I was a little, I mean, first, I'm heckin' tired, y'all. I was also a little preoccupied with just trying to figure, like, again, learn from the animation itself how Raiden might not be able to win. Because, you know, even though I voted for him, and I'll accept that, I was wrong on this one, you know, for sure. I wasn't voting for him confidently. Like, I was kind of just, like, looking for one piece of information, you know, that I could really use in Excalibur's favor. Because when you're leaning towards someone for one reason, that's a little flimsy, you know? And that was the case with Raiden. I was leaning toward just because, like, of the sword. And so I wanted that one thing. You know, there have been things like that with other death battles in the past, where it's like with, you know, Sun Wukong, right? I was waiting for that one feat of strength to see if we could beat Hercules' like, Atlas thing. Or at least match it, you know, so I didn't have to put that in Hercules' favor. And when those moments come, oh, it's a relief to me. When they don't come, oh no. So, that was what this was. I did get lost a little bit in the animation, but again, I think in part just because of tiredness and, you know, scatterbrain, focusing on different things. Like, about the fight still, or the outcome, but also just, like, jumping back in my head through, like, the analysis to, you know, see if I could pick up this and that. I liked the song, though. That was one of those things that kept kind of, like, pulling me back into the fight, admittedly, was the music, because it really did, from the video that I watched about Metal Gear Revengeance, or Revengeance Rising, or whatever it's called, right? It just seemed really appropriate, but I liked it in general. I like those kinds of, you know, like, screamy songs, like, you know, when it got to that part, rather. So, yeah, I don't know if I really have much else to say. Like, yeah, I accept Excalibur as the winner, because it does make sense to me as long as certain things are accepted, and I don't care for the Tenno pilots surviving argument, because I didn't think that was ever a question, because, like, duh. But but you know, if the Murasama could not cut through Excalibur, awesome, then Excalibur wins, like, undoubtedly in my mind. So, very, very cool. I hope you all enjoyed this death battle. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, what you thought about this or that, etc., so on and so forth. Then next time, oh no, I don't know what we'll be watching, but we'll be watching another death battle, so I hope you're looking forward to that. But yes, with that, we're calling it here, so have a good one, everybody.